Okay, team. So we can talk now. We can talk about the 9-week challenge. We can talk about maybe other questions that you guys have. So I'm just going to open it up to the floor. We've got, I think, almost all of our business development coaches on the Zoom right now. So not everyone at once.
I have a question regarding the Facebook group. So if we're all using the same Facebook group, but we're all doing challenges all at the same time, how does that work? How am I communicating with my people and everyone's communicating with their own without it?
Yeah, great question. So Paula, say you are an admin. So when your people post, say, pictures of their food, only you will approve that. So like another coach won't approve that because they're like, that ain't my client. So say that you're gonna coach your logs or offer encouragement, say at 6 o'clock at night. So you just log in at 6 o'clock at night and there'll probably be, 10 or 12 pending posts. And you just say, okay, that's my client approved. That's my client approved. And then you would go and coach or offer the encouragement on those logs.
So are they gonna, like if my client, Mary, is in the group, is she seeing what everyone else is doing as well?
Yes. So that group is going to be, kind of like an AA or like a support group for folks. So yes, they're going to be able to see other logs that are posted, other people coaching those logs. And ultimately what the goal would be, and this isn't going to happen for everyone, is for relationships to kind of form out that are taken outside the group.
So if I wanted to create a weekly post to go to my people, like everyone in the group would still see it, or only my people would see it?
Yes, they would. I would tag your people,
okay.
But yes, they would.
Okay, all right, that makes a little more sense then.
And then just like Julie is saying, if your business is, things are going well and like, you're not in kind of like emergency mode or the ER, so to speak, business wise, I would start to make your own group. We can do that. My wife builds out groups for folks. But if it's kind of at the beginning of your journey, I would just use what's provided. But then as you grow and you get comfortable with it, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to form your own group. Cool. Paula, did that answer your question?
Yeah, pretty much. I can always ask more questions later, but yeah.
Okay. Well, let me know if you need any clarity or anything like that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I have a question. How soon before how early would you put that out there before you launch the 9-week course? Like 4 weeks, 3 weeks?
So a couple schools of thought on that, Mary. Great question. I didn't launch it as a group. So people could sign up, one on a Tuesday, another on next Tuesday. And that's how I managed it. So where others, and I think how Julie manages it is, yes, hey, in 4 weeks, we're starting. So register now. I'm only taking 10 people, or however you want to kind of market that. So yeah, I would say that there would be those two ways. You can do it all as a team, all as a group, or you could do it individual. Does that make sense, Mary?
Yes, thank you. So you can either bring them on individually just when they're ready, or if you wanted to do a whole big, everybody starts at the same time.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm going to guess, Jason, I don't know how you did it, but I'm going to guess most people do it as a group.
Yeah, most people do it as a group. However, like Jesse said, if I had individuals that were on the self-paced do-it-yourself, then I would funnel them in at any time, because I'm the one sending out that information. So if they want to do it themselves, then yeah, absolutely. You can keep bringing those people in at any time. Just make sure you've got a good way of keeping track of where they're at, who they're, what week they're on. You can continue to feed them that proper information.
I'm just thinking of marketing strategies. Another great idea of what Danielle Hofer just wrote is she would do a soft launch at 4 weeks out. a lot of times you're going to hear people, especially this time of the year, hey, I'm waiting for my tax check or something like that. That when you do a 4-week soft launch, you can be like, hey, no problem. I can save your spot for $50. And we actually don't launch until February 28th, and the rest will be due automatically on that. So you collect payment information, bill them for whatever deposit that you guys want to collect, say $50, and then the rest when the challenge starts.
Yeah,
Okay.
Now's an incredible time too to get this started because you got spring break getting ready to come up for a lot of families into March, beginning of April.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Guys, what other questions do you have, or statements, or what's on everyone's mind?
I have a question. So does that mean you're like continuously running some sort of 9-week challenge if people are just coming in whenever?
Are you asking like myself or Julie or just anyone?
Well, you, but anyone can answer. I mean, because
Yeah.
there's like, it looks like there's 2 ways to do that. A group
Yeah.
challenge or just a whenever.
So that's a good question. So Julie, or from other coaches running the challenge, how often do you guys, is it a 4 times a year thing? Is it a once a month thing?
In the past, I've done it maybe like 3 to 4 times a year, but because I'm getting so comfortable with it and just feel really good about it, I'm going to constantly try to keep this 9 weeks going, but as a group. To do it individually for me and my schedule, it would add too much stress to try to keep up with my regular clients and then which person is where they're at. Even though I know I could probably, like you said, automatic, to me, it would, where I'm at would add stress to me. So for me, it would be easier just to do it as a group. And I've got them all right there because I have my own little group page for just the 9-week challenge. I've got 2 groups, my personal group and then the 9-week challenge group. And then everybody's in there and it's just easier for me to do it that way.
Could this be run as like a completely automated self-paced course
Mm-hmm.
where all you do and basically you sell the package and there's no further interaction?
Yeah, so that would be that option 1.
Okay.
Now, the way it is set up right now is there would be a few seconds that you would have to take every Monday to manually email them the challenge, the course material, and the tool to help them with that challenge. But that could be, if you're comfortable with technology, easily automated through like MailChimp or Constant Contact or something like that.
Yeah, that or something like Teachable or Udemy or whatever that other automated course is.
Or another way to do it would be just to add them into the group and do maybe a 45-second video of you showing them how to navigate the guide section in the group. And that would be self-paced. They would just go to in that guide section, week 1. When they're done with week 1, maybe it takes them 2 weeks. They go to week 2.
And then one more follow-up. So did you say earlier that you, Jesse, just have an open enrollment for that 9-week challenge? So anybody signs up whenever? Yeah,
when we did this, we did have some automated systems, so in full transparency, but yes, when we did it, like we did it on an individual basis. We didn't do like a launch as a team.
And was that like easy to manage or was it like more challenging?
It was not easy to manage at first because I had to learn a new tool, which frustrated me so much. I actually had my wife learn it. But once we got that automation in place, then it was less hands-on.
So in theory, you could kind of do it both ways, couldn't you?
Yeah, and I would say, kind of backpedaling a little bit, I would say to run it as a group at first.
Yeah.
Then when you're cash flowing, your business is out of the ER, and you're in recovery or you're in thriving mode, then I would start looking at like, hey, what automations can I add in here? Do I have the mental and time capacity to learn these automations? Do I want to invest in them? Because in full transparency, we weren't doing any of that until we had a pretty robust draft built up.
Right. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yep. No,
And
great.
something else I would think about too is with the group thing and having it like a certain time creates a scarcity for the client. And you want to, like, if it's always there, there's always this, like the gym is always there, right? And like, oh, I'll get to it. Oh, I'll get to it. It'll be there tomorrow. It's fine. And that's the kind of the mindset we want to make sure that we like the scarcity. Like, we want to jump on a sale. We want to jump on this now. The fear of missing out. We've got to, like, that is why I do my specific, I don't know if you saw in the chat, but like, so mine, I'm launching mine. Mine's a little bit different. Again, like, kind of like how Julie mentioned, she kind of put it to her personality and how she would say things. I did a soft launch the first 2 weeks of February, but I'm going to run it in March. And then I'm taking a break, focusing on golds. And then was it May? May, I'll be launching again for June. So that, just an idea of that scarcity mindset, getting your feet wet, getting like, okay, this worked, this didn't work, that kind of stuff. I don't know. Again, if you're cash flow and you want to automate it all later on, that's great, but I would not automate this kind of thing, because this is their first introduction of who you are, and you get that know, like, and trust value there.
Thanks.
I think knowing your capacity as a coach as well, knowing what you can handle. As a brand new coach that's never ran a 9-week challenge, I would not run it automated like the others have said, because you need to know the information. Okay, they're gonna automate it, and you can say, hey, this is a do-it-yourself type course, and people are gonna ask questions. You know, people are, and you don't know that answer. So, you know, take the time, commit yourself to that as well, even if it's going through that 9-week challenge, and you know, opening that stuff up, fully understanding the material, and then implement it based on the capacity that you feel you can handle.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So I have a business question. I have several clients now. So at what point should I be creating a business entity and making it more official?
I would say as soon as possible, because that's going to put the plant the seed in your brain that, hey, this is something with infinite capacity to grow. This is something that's not just on the side, even though it may be, you know. So I would get the LLC formed and make it official. I mean, it's just filling out some forms.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to do here in Idaho, but I just wanted to know if there was a point at which that makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, the larger your income is, the more it makes sense to have its own entity, so you can do write-offs and things of that nature. You can legitimize it. The IRS would probably appreciate it, not mingling personal and professional. Yeah. So I would get it done. That's generally something that we advise in our business first steps, like when someone's just kind of launching. Definitely not mandatory, but I would get it done.
I have a question.
Mandy, yes.
So when you're doing these groups, is there ever a point where you remove people from the group? Because a 9-week challenge, then do you take them out when their 9 weeks is done? I don't understand exactly how that works. I noticed you were talking about the different ways of, doing a group or doing them funneling through continuously. And I'm just curious where that stands. And maybe I just haven't learned that yet because I haven't gone through all my videos.
Yeah, no, Mandy, that's a great question. I don't. I wouldn't take them out of the group unless they wanted to be, or because they could take themselves out. And the reason for that is then they're seeing the community. They're obviously not getting coaching anymore. And my belief is it might draw them back in because they're seeing other people get results. They're like, oh man, I gotta plug back into this. This is definitely a polarized question. So that was what I'm doing. Other people will say to remove them from the group. They're not paying for the value, so get them out of the group. Both answers are accurate. There's not a right or wrong to that. And if you guys want to, as a consensus, maybe just put in the comments, like, would you guys remove them from the group or leave them in?
Yeah, and that's where Jesse and I differ, and we've had this conversation. I personally do pull everybody out of the group. Once they've fulfilled the terms of their contract or canceled, I pulled them out of my private group. I take them out of everything because that allows me later on down the road, in my opinion, when I go follow up with them, hey, how's things going? You know, they've either retained that knowledge or they didn't retain that knowledge. And then that gives me opportunity to resell them. Oh, are you missing the group? Are you missing the accountability? You know, and that's where I dig in and I upsell that.
Yeah. I think Jason's more on the right side, actually. You're selling me, man. Awesome, team. Any other thing? Oh, go ahead,
One
Paula.
quick question. When Danielle said scarcity, she kind of gave me a thought, like, as you're promoting it, I mean, is it okay to, you suggest like fibbing and making it sound, oh, I only have 5 spots available, like, even though you might be willing to take 20 just to like have a sense of urgency?
Yeah, great question. And I think sales gets a bad name because of that stuff. And I'm polarized on this. And my goal is not to offend anyone. I know we have macro millionaire coaches that play that game. I think anytime you're putting an element of dishonesty in, then it's just bad news. So what I would say is I would either say I've got 20 spots available and stick to that 20 or stick to that 5. That's one way to be, I think, honest and do it. The other way would be, hey, I have limited spots. Okay, so that limited spot, your definition of limited could be 1,000. Okay, so I do have limited spots. Another really cool way is, hey, the first 5 people, it's this price. It's going to go up $50 a month for every person thereafter, something along those lines.
I do actually cap my groups at a certain number, and I'm very honest about it. But then the other thing too, to kind of like, because they have access to me, that kind of thing. But I also am like, okay, waitlist or a second cohort. So then that way it looks like if there are enough people that want to join, there's a second cohort, and then it looks like you have kept 5, and then I really do cap it because that's about my maximum. And that's the other thing too, like I want to make sure I'm truly giving these people what they need. And so my cap is 20, 25, and then then I make another cohort if needed.
Yes, so if you ever need to remove people from Train Heroic, just email coaching@macromissionary.com. I would do that monthly. So if there's like, you lose 3 clients, something like that, just email me the first or email coaching@macromissionary.com, first and last names, and they will take them out. They can also be taken out by you from the tracking app. So you have admin rights to do that.
But they have the information, so technically they could just go in and sign back up, right?
Yeah, and there's a few things. One, they don't necessarily know that. I don't worry about it. We do periodically change the codes. And we're probably due to do that. So if they get away with it, they might get away with it for 6-7 months until we change the codes.
I know you were talking about the pricing. So here's a mistake I made. I charged the do-it-yourself price basically, because this was like kind of new getting into it, and offered a Zoom. And then I found like by week 4, I'm sitting there waiting. People aren't showing up, or they're not like, oh, I can't make it. And so I did away with it. And I just said in the group, seems to make more sense. I'm going to come on, and I just did a live in there, but I was doing a little bit extra. But I had to change that up and not do the Zoom because it was taking time out of my schedule for things I needed to do, and people actually weren't showing up for it. So I just went in and started either doing a live in the group or posting the information, like you said, from the guide or whatnot.
Awesome. Cynthia, thank you for sharing that, because I think all of us as coaches at one point did exactly what you just said. Like, hey, I'm selling at the silver price, but I'm giving the gold. So thank you for sharing that. Cool. All right. Any other questions before we rock and roll? who's gonna launch? Let me know in the who's kind of inspired, who's gonna be like, hey, you know, I'm gonna do I'm gonna do a bout with the 9-week challenge. Julie's like, me.
And when you guys do launch, drop us in the BDC team, drop us some information and let us know that, because we'll be happy to go in and hype up your post and jump on there and blow that up for you as well. Create some excitement.
Great point. Actually, we're going to end on this point because I don't think that a lot of people understand that we have this advantage. This is kind of falls under the community advantage. So let me just show you this, guys. All right, in our private Facebook group. No, really. Exactly kind of what Jason was saying here. It's actually. All right. So in our private group, we have these pinned posts that you guys are looking at. Featured, okay, right here, featured. In one of the featured posts, I would look at all of them, but one of them is here. So need support on a post, copy the link and paste it in the comments. So basically, yeah, if you're going to be running a challenge or you want to, maybe you're a new coach, just doing your launch post, put that in the comments here so that we can all go and share our energy and share our support. Now, obviously, guys, don't, and I know none of you would do this, but don't abuse this. You know, this is like a once in a while. You don't want to be the person that's like, hey, every single post I do, come give me some love, because that's just not going to be realistic to sustain. But yeah, definitely use this. I think this is kind of underutilized, and you just post a link to the post right in here under the comments. We all get notified of that, and then we can all go and show some love and support for that post.